You know that's too far, right? Bombshell?
You need to tell them it's too far.
I have. They're not allowed to fucking...
Well, they're breaking the rules too, Keem.
They're not going to be doing that. That's too far. All right.
But they break the rule. They broke the rules setting it up because I have I have the screenshots of Tina saying, "Yeah, we'll get the interview."
They're just trolling.
Punch super chatted $20. We kicked WOR for his incident, but Michael got a DV, and it's all good. Make it make sense.
Can you wait until we talk about the Michael?
Into it. You'll understand.
Can you wait
hopefully.
a little second, but so we can talk about Michael? We're dealing with multiple things. All right, Becky wants you to cut off your hair, and
She's lost her everlasting mind,
and she wants you fired. Neither of those are happening because that's too extreme.
for you, Becky.
That's too extreme. All right, but Michael did tell you that you were not to do this, and you did it. And then I also told all the hosts, hey, you know, Becky and Richie have an agreement not to talk about this anymore. And this thing is directly lined to it. So there has to be a punishment. Savage.
Can you explain to me something real quick? How does her living in a landfill the same as what the whole issue is?
Because
that don't make sense to me.
Neglected _Tibbles super chatted $19.99. Boogie jump around twiddle them tippies while thanking me for giving you money. Pig face pig face pig face pig face pig.
Yeah! Yeah!
In the span of 4 minutes, Savage, all right, he leaks the video, and then she came out with the allegations. That's why they're tied to each other.
She's using that as excuse. She's manipulating you.
Anyhow,
she's manipulating you.
We told, but maybe she is, but we told you not to post it, and you did it. So here's the punishment. On Monday, have a construction vest ready because you are going to the side of the highway and you are picking up trash for the entire stream of milkers.
Fuck your ass, man. What are they going to get for worrying me up?
What do you mean?
What is worrying me up?
Wait, what do you mean worrying me up?
Worrying me up with the whole threats with my stalker and shit. Or why can't they get punished with me? I'll be happy if they take one as well.
Yeah, but you didn't say, I'm going to show your house. You actually showed the house.
Super chatted $20. Keem Becky was talking about going down the sewer slide. That's uncalled for and disrespectful, TBH.
I can't
I'm happy.
Thank you for saving my house! Yeah! Yeah!
Making Boogie over fake celebrate for every dono is the funniest thing ever.
I am not happy.
What?
AMAC talking smack super chatted $19.99. Love you, Savage Pirate Flag. Ty super chatted $20. In the wise words of Keem, stop edging. Let's fuck. Get in with the punishment during Keemstar.
Did I say?
He's getting punished and nobody else.
They get punished all the time.
No, they don't. Not by you.
I cut
Yeah,
Becky's
normally
hair.
Mike can handle the punishments until someone fucks up as bad as you did, retard.
It was not that bad.
It's pretty fucking bad.
No, it's not, Boogie.
What makes it so bad is we literally put out a message 24 hours before you showed it saying,
And it
let's not
doesn't say
bring
anything
this
about
up or
not
anything related to it up again.
Okay,
And you
okay.
immediately did.
Let's get the brass tacks down then. It does not say anything about showing that video. It said talking about a situation.
You know how
Fear.
related they are. You know how related they are.
Don't forget I left for that boy
Well,
short
then,
amount of
then
time.
cleaning up trash in the morning will teach you.
The guy that leaked the video is the guy in the alleged situation. Like it's like they're inseparable.
Consider the lesson learned tomorrow after 2 hours of picking up trash, which isn't even all that fucking bad.
Monday.
This is bullshit.
Monday.
This is bullshit.
Monday.
You know it. You know it. I know it, Keem. I see you grinning, you little motherfucker.
I gave
Pride.
you. It's an easy punishment. Picking up
It's
trash.
such a
Oh,
joke
well.
punishment. That's out of all the shit I had to do, that's the easiest one I had to do.
Wait a minute. I got to see what the weather going to be Monday. You might have me out there in the damn
I hope it's
rain.
fucking raining. Good.
Well, if
Wait a minute. Shut up, Boogie.
if it rains, that's gonna be funny as shit.
Shut
Yeah,
up,
fucking
Boogie.
swim through it,
Super
bitch.
chatted $26.60. Keem.
Okay, it's
as a
not gonna be
point,
raining.
You told all hosts not to show the video after it was posted in Discord and deleted.
Oh no, that
True.
is true.
Thank you for saving my house. Yeah.
Outsanity super chatted $20. To be fair, you can't see a house in all that trash. Christy
That's
Cooper,
true.
Have you
Yeah.
ever thought of making Boogie put on makeup and a wig and act like Becky? He already
We've
has
already
the
done
wig
that.
for it.
Yeah.
SMD
We already did it!
YSLO5 super chatted $26.60. Boogers. I recently discovered I love men and in particularly fat men. Will you please hold on to my glazed donuts? Backhand index pointing down, light skin tone. Backhand index pointing down, light skin tone. Backhand index
Also,
pointing
I'm not
down, light
interested.
skin
Yeah!
tone. Backhand index pointing down, light
Dude,
skin
I'm never
tone.
gonna be able to
Backhand
talk on my
index
own
pointing
show
down,
ever
light
again.
skin tone.
What the fuck, guys?
The Raging Bean super chatted $20. It's getting so bad Keem has to ask Boogie to thank viewers cause he can't muster up appreciation for the audience. Boogie despises the viewers. And Savage don't give an F, give her and booger harsher punishments.
I thought he was
I
talking
don't.
Musical super
She
chatted
doesn't-
$20.
Yeah!
Boogie, let your inner Francis out. Grievous
Let's
Demise
fucking
super
go,
chatted $20.
motherfucker!
Here Boogie, this is for the termite problem.
You got dynamite?
Oh,
Oh, Lord.
Lord.
Apparently, yeah!
If it's so related, then why was she okay with people filming them cleaning it up? Why is
Yes,
she still living
yes,
there if just the sight of her house is so triggering?
She wasn't okay with that. In fact, they never went through with it. Dipshit, her house, she's still living in a fucking pigsty as far as I know.
Swaller. She's living in Swaller.
I love when you guys are donating, talking shit to Boogie, and he has to be really appreciative and exciting.
I
And
need
you
my sister to
motherfuckers,
come
you motherfuckers
through.
tell me I don't appreciate shit. You know what? I get my right here from today's mail. I have 3 different fucking letters from fans where I sign shit and I send it back to you for free. And you can do that too, motherfucker. I don't charge a goddamn dime. Every fan that fucking I took photos at lunch today for free with fans. Suck my fucking dick.
Okay.
Suck my fucking dick. I
Okay.
love you guys. Fuck you.
God damn it! I can't talk on my own show. What the fuck is this?
JROD33 super chatted $20. Buggy, be careful getting too excited. We don't want you to ruin the house we're saving for you. The Gamers Asylum super chatted $20. I am easily entertained. I just like laughing at Boogie yell.
Okay.
Love you, Boogie.
So we have a bit of a double whammy in this interesting episode of lolcowlive. So the first part was mostly focused on Savage and that whole dilemma between her and Becky. You know, her showing the video and, you know, Becky getting mad and getting really frustrated over that video and just kind of re-sparking the whole argument that we more or less, or at least I'm going to assume that most of my audience would agree that the essay allegations that, you know, Becky said are really fake, right? And as I said a number of times, Keem knows it's fake. So it's just kind of funny how he's just sort of playing it, but I think he's just doing it for profit. So Savage had to take a punishment, right? And the punishment is like what Boogie did at one time, where he had to go out and do community service, as in just going around and cleaning up, you know, the highway and then streaming. Which is very milquetoast and whatever. Like, I think if most people are gonna complain about it, like, what do you expect? Like, Savage already quit and cut her hair. I don't think Keem would go that far. And someone would say, well, Becky did it. Yeah, but Becky caused a whole heap of drama and a whole heap of problem and then got a lot of, you know, outsiders involved, right? The whole thing between that situation and mine, you know, like, Becky tried to bring that up and use that. It's like, well, no, like, you did that to yourself. You brought that to yourself. You can't really blame anybody else but you. And then so in something like this situation, I think it's like whatever. Going out and cleaning up like the highway, it's like a nothing burger, right? Right? That's all what it is. It doesn't mean much. It's just for the sake of content. Because, like, let's be fair. If Keem really, truly, genuinely believed that, you know, Becky was SA, I think he would have either banned or fired most people by now. And I wouldn't be surprised if some people were banned, but they were probably banned for very different reasons, right? Maybe slightly related to it, but not as much. And that's really what it is, right? If her doing something simple as go out and clean the area, it's just a nothing burger. It doesn't mean much. It's just for the sake of entertainment and just, you know, obviously be kind of funny. Now I'm not sure how she's gonna do it because like she'll have to do it around at a time where the roads are extremely busy, cops can get involved. So it's up in the air how things are gonna play out. Though to be fair, that isn't really the main part of this video, right?
And I quickly understood that Mike is innocent and this thing is getting dropped. You know? Mike,
Which was exactly my experience as well.
Yeah.
And I talked to Bridget herself, and whereas he can't talk about it until his court date. And trust me, I wish I hadn't talked about my shit till my fucking court date. So it's the right plan. This is a nothing burger.
This is absolutely nothing. All right. I can tell you for a fact, he did not put any hands on anyone. He did not actually assault anyone. All right. I can tell you it was all verbal stuff going back and forth. And he's just innocent of this. I can tell you for a fact. I talked to him. I talked to the alleged victim. He's going to go to court at the end of May. This thing's going to get dropped. And then he'll be free to talk about it further of what actually took
Asher
place.
Morales super chatted $49.99. Didn't think anything of you before IDUBBZZ content cop hated you after then I grew up and now I love everything you do. Hope y'all stay up big dogs.
Yeah, thank you.
You
Appreciate it.
sussy super chatted $20. Damn, I feel bad for Mike's hernia. He's innocent.
Yeah, you sussy, you're right. Wow, wait, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so now people are spamming the brooms. And it's like,
Of course.
okay, so I actually got information on the situation, realized it was nothing, and I'm here saying it's nothing, right? I guess that the version of these guys that's not sweeping is to be like, oh, Mike is guilty and he should go to jail. But that's not what my opinion is.
This is not what happened. And
It's
so
not
people,
what happened. It's not what my opinion is. So, like, I guess, and if I don't find him guilty and don't say he needs to be in jail, then I guess I'm sweeping, huh? I guess that's how that works. It's
and to be able to compare it to Jordy, allow me to say one thing, okay? Most bosses, you forget, a lot of people forget what happened before Kelly got shoved. He assaulted Keemstar, his boss, right? In the same fucking day that he accidentally assaulted his wife, 20 minutes earlier, he assaulted his boss. You guys say it's not fair to fire wings. 99.9% of employees get fired the moment they assault their bosses, and charges get pressed, and shit happens. Wings got 2 passes that day, and don't forget, we still tried to consider bringing him back, giving him a path back, and he said no. So obviously, when Mike did nothing wrong, and his wife said there was no assault, and he's saying there's no assault, and the fucking courts will say on May 20th there's no assault, how would we treat him the same as a guy who literally assaulted Keemstar? Make that make sense.
Well, Wings put his hands on me, and it's like, whatever, I didn't care about that. But then the losing his mind and then just pushing anyone to the point where he pushes his own wife, that's where it was like, holy shit, you need to be suspended. Then on suspension, he came at me and you, right? And then we saw the other clip of him actually slapping Kelly, all right? These things are wildly different
The Ridging Bean super
than
chatted
Mike,
$20.
who didn't lay a hand on anyone.
Boogie and Keem be like, I talked to my friend and the other person and I think it's all good. Just trust me, dog. Creep behind a camera must give some crazy head. Also, Kelly forgave
Well,
Wings.
I talked
Not
to-
saying
That's
it's
true.
right, but just saying.
Hey, thank you for
Okay. Can I just say, I talked to the person who called the cops on Mike, all right? I talked to the alleged victim, all right? I understand that you guys are weird and somehow you want Mike to be guilty. I get that. But if he's not guilty, he's just not guilty.
And I will say this, Keem, you and I will have a new conversation if the courts put him in jail. Obviously, you can't do a show from jail anyway, but if the courts find him guilty and put him in jail, then we'll have to have a new conversation. But as it is right now, all evidence is proving that he is not guilty.
Yeah, I can tell you this, though. If I was one of these fucking viewers, I wouldn't be sitting there fucking arguing with someone else that has more information on what happened. You know what I
No,
mean?
of course, because they think they know
Because
better, dude.
I have this much information of what happened, and then the people in the audience that's saying I'm sweeping and I'm wrong somehow have this much information. So I am way more equipped to have the right opinion than person in comments that has way less information. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you should really I have more information than you. You know what I mean? I know what really happened. So you might look stupid in the end of this. You know, you might, because you don't got all the information. I got more information.
He's got a court date coming up.
And
if he loses, well, we'll have a whole other conversation, won't we?
So as I'm recording this video, and obviously it's going to come out, I'm actually going to hold off the information I kind of gather from the Discord. But first thing first, let's get into the first clip and really just this part of the stream. Well, it wasn't really that long, funny enough. I think the recording I had for it was like a good 15-16 minutes. It wasn't really that long of a segment, right? They kind of started it and then they went real fast and got through it, and they were getting a lot of crap because supposedly, you know, Keem said he spoke to the victim, and we know for a fact that it isn't Jennifer, right? You know, and the victim is Bridget, though. It's very interesting, right? Mind you, this is a 3rd degree assault, and from what I understand, and from the state he lives in, South Carolina, it is the court they're supposed to drop the charges, not the victim or the abuser or whatever. I'm not sure, but I've heard somewhere that it is the court or whoever job to whether or not if the charges can be dropped. And it's very funny how Keemstar is acting so smug and so arrogant that he knows. He thinks he knows better than you because I spoke to the alleged victim. Guess how you spoke to Richie and Becky, right? Right, Keem? Yeah, I'm just saying that it's very coincidental, right? That Richie released a big video exposing Becky, and then it just, I'm just saying, right? What did and that's what I kind of feel, right? This reminds me of like how a lot of big time like celebrities or directors will pull the crap of they pay off the victim or something of that matter as a way to get away with it, right? Because we've seen this, right? We've seen this with CEOs, we've seen this with celebrities, and we've seen it a number of times, right? Where there's a severe crime and the abuser get away with it a lot of the time, sadly, right? We've seen this a few times already. And I think it's very clear that Keem is trying his best to minimize the damage and sweep, knowing that the result is negative, right? It is a clear net negative on hand. So him talking to the alleged victim, which is clearly Bridget, because Boogie straight up said that the victim was Bridget. So he clearly abused his wife. Now, some would say that it was verbal, but like even if it's verbal, how is that any better? It's like, well, it was only verbal abuse, like. How is that any good? And then the real question is, was he intoxicated or was he sober? Because either way, it doesn't actually excuse either or. If you're going off the logic that, oh, he was intoxicated, but there's so many people who say that when you're drunk, that's when your real side comes out, which is very questionable. And there's also like people who have said, well, they live in the same house, they're still living in the same house. I'm not sure how that works exactly when it's coming, because we've heard Bridget in the kid's voice a number of times, so it makes me wonder. You know what I mean? It makes me wonder what's going on. So like, is he just been there the whole time, or he's been in a separate house in a separate area, or Bridget lives somewhere else and the kids come and stay? And as I said before in the other video, that like Tina knew the whole time and didn't say anything. Now obviously Tina logic is like, well, I don't want to tell anybody anything. It's not their business. But it's like it kind of shows you that where their mindsets are, right? Their willingness to protect each other. Yeah, at the same time, their willingness to also throw each other under the bus. It's very clear cut. It's a very thin line. Right? We've seen this a number of times. And again, for Keem to be so arrogant to say that I spoke to the victim, so it makes me... if by that logic, like, what did he say? Because given who Keemstar is and the way he is as a person, it wouldn't be surprising if he says certain things that could be kind of criminal. But we'll have to, I guess, wait and see.
Yeah.
But he won't, because
there's
nothing happened.
Okay, if it came out, let me put up a scenario just so this is here. If it came out that Michael Green lied to me and lied to Boogie, and the alleged victim lied to me and then Boogie, oh, we're going to change our opinion. We're going to have a wildly different opinion than we do now. But we got to go based on what we know. And what we know is what we told you. We talked to Mike. Also, we talked to the alleged victim. This is a nothing burger.
Also, I'm looking up domestic violence in the 3rd degree in the state of South Carolina. It includes having injured or even threatening to injure somebody.
Yeah, because he threatened.
Yeah, which is
allegedly.
Allegedly, they were drinking and they got into an argument. That's what allegedly happened.
Allegedly, they were drinking and allegedly there was a verbal threat. Allegedly, but that's allegedly what happened. So when I say it's a nothing burger, it's a fucking nothing burger.
By the way, Keem, I will murder you in your sleep.
That's the same exact thing. What Boogie just said is the same exact thing. That is I guess, 3rd degree domestic violence.
Yeah, appreciate being on the show. Goodbye forever. I've been fired for that.
The most jail time Mike is looking at for a 3rd degree domestic violence is 90 days.
Yeah, and there's a fine of $1,000, so he might have to pay $1,000 for saying a bad word.
$1,000 in 90 days. So just the charge alone is like, okay, it obviously was not that serious.
Yep. So, and I at the end of the day, I don't fuck with domestic violence for obvious reasons. I'm not gonna make it about myself, but I don't fuck with it. I've known Mike and more importantly, I've known Bridget for 1,000,000 years, and I promise you, hand to God, Bridget would not lie in this situation. If that shit happened, Bridget would cut his dick off.
Dude, Red Harlow goes, suspend him until court then. Motherfucker, where you live? North Korea? This is America. This is innocent until proven guilty. Red Harlow, what country are you from? There's no way you're from America.
But let me reiterate, I've known Bridget for a long time, and Bridget the kind of woman that goes hard. And if you laid hands on Bridget, she would cut your fucking cock off. I swear to God. You saw how she handled her own fucking dad. You saw how she handled every situation she's ever been in. You think she would stand for a goddamn second for Mike to pull some shit? No, he would be missing his balls.
Dude, look at the chat. It's like, no, we want him to be guilty. No, tell me he punched a woman, please. It's like, it didn't happen, guys. I'm sorry. It didn't happen. Sorry. So that's that situation. Obviously, Mike cannot talk about this at all until it gets dropped at court, and then he can talk about it per his attorney, which is
they're saying bring both of them in here. And to be honest with you, we probably will after the court date. We can't do it before because, and I learned this the very hard way. If you talk about this shit publicly before the fucking trial, people will clip it. They will do everything they can to make it look as bad as possible. They will mail it to the prosecutor and try to make you look as bad as humanly possible, which is what they did to me.
Look,
so no, he will not be talking about it online until that.
Based on what Mike and Bridget told me, the person that got arrested and the alleged victim, this is another nothing burger. Was I there? No, but based on the only two people that know what happened, this is a nothing burger. And I'll
go as far as to say, if it turns out that I'm wrong, friendship over. But I'm not, so I can say whatever I want. If it turns out I'm wrong, I will personally smother him to death with my tipples. I can say whatever I want because I know I'm not wrong because I heard it from Bridget's mouth.
Keem, can we please put it in members only mode? No.
Yeah, you might need to.
I like looking at the people that are like, oh, I wanted him to be guilty. Oh, why didn't he punch a woman? I want him to punch a woman. It's funny. Like, people don't truly want justice. What they want is chaos.
It's a mob. Yeah, they want a mob. They want to murder.
They want chaos. Like, they're like, no, I want him to be guilty. Like, it's funny. Like, it's
the worst part about it is if he were guilty, you would not like this. You would not be entertained at all. Because what we would do is we wouldn't bring him up here. We wouldn't parade him around. We wouldn't shame him publicly. We would just fucking fire him. If it turned out he beat the shit out of his wife, you wouldn't get an episode out of it. So this is the only content you can get out of this. Thankfully, he's innocent. You're getting a show about it. If he was not innocent, it would just cut ties like that.
I would fire him. And the thing between this and Wings is I've talked to the witnesses. They've both told me the same story.
The Gamers Asylum super chatted $20. There is a reason we have a judicial system and due process. Let it do its job.
I've talked to the witnesses, the two people that were there.
Yeah, Gamers Asylum.
They both told me their story, right? Which there's no physical contact of whatsoever, right? And then in the Wings situation, there clearly is. There's two separate videos of him laying hands on a woman. And it's just they're not the same.
Can I point out, by the way, that we got canceled for, even though it's not to say, because y'all want to be mad at us over this, because we got canceled for trying to work it out with Jordy, that it got therapy, it got marriage counseling, it got back as somewhere in the network working for Keemstar. So you want to be mad, you want to talk about actual sweeping, we tried to bring Jordy back. Be mad about that. But the Mike thing, you can't be mad about because nothing fucking happened.
I mean,
and so in this little screenshot I got, it says Mike just called. He heard about the leaving and banning of pay pigs who falsely accused him of beating women, which is really reality his wife, right? Even if he didn't be, even if it was verbal. I'll finish this file. And he volunteers to self-suspend himself from Milkers and Queen till his court case is dropped, so he will not be on the show till the end of May. So for now, he is not on the show. But he's still getting paid. Let's be real. He's probably still getting paid. He's still getting all the benefits that he would always get, right? Till May. So, like, what, May is even that far off? May is, like, legit, like, less than a couple of days. And I believe the court case is somewhere in earlier mid-May. Even so, it dropped, right? But, how much... Again, everything, it depends on the court itself and not the victim, from what I understand. And it's funny how, like, they are clearly sweeping for him. They clearly are doing this because in their eyes, they have to. They need to do this. This is how they're going to make sure on their end they're secure. But they also straight up kind of admit that, like, well, if he is, and in a weird way, I think they kind of more or less dropped a lot of the truth. They more or less, how I'm going to say it, they still hinted to some type of abuse. Given that the lolcowlive universe, and particularly Keem, have a weird way of telling the truth in a way where you kind of don't know until you realize it, right? So, even if the again, even if it's of some type of verbal abuse, it's still abuse, sober or even if he was like sober or drunk, it's still an abuse regardless, and it's not right. And the way they're acting is what you would expect from these kind of people, right? They're not good people at heart. They're not morally good people at heart. They're nothing but really just people who really look out for themselves and for their buddies when it's convenient, and then they'll drop them in a heartbeat if it's convenient, right? That's really what it comes down to. And yeah, they are sweeping. And they also, people were bringing back up the whole stuff about the PDF, and obviously, how I feel like I think he is. And they were very much, like, keemstar straight up said, like, yeah, I'll totally let Mike watch my teenage daughter. I'm like, dude, how disgusting. And I think keemstar has no choice but to accept the fact there, right? He's already said it. He's already defended it. He already brought him back. Even if he felt some type of guilt, he can't turn back. And I think that's disgusting, but like I guess that's respectable. I guess, I don't know, if you're willing to go and say that even if you don't believe it or if you feel guilty, there's that, I guess. And as I said, we'll have to wait and see what's going to occur in the proceeding, right? I do think he clearly committed a crime. He did. He went to whatever, but we'll have to wait and see when the reports come out, because I believe a lot of that is public information regardless. So we're going to see. And if he does get some type of penalty or fine or arrested or whatever, watch the lolcowlive universe, people still defend him. They already did it once. They're going to do it now, and they're going to do it again. So don't be surprised, right? And that's really all it is. Till next time, God bless. Oops. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize my audio didn't stop. God bless y'all.